Okay, hello everybody. Just about to go live on Facebook. I'm just talking today about how you're adjusting with the current changes in our climate and how you're navigating that, because I've had a lot of challenges this week, broken lots of my rules. So I'm just going to share that now on Facebook. Hello, beautiful Facebook world. How are you? It's Mel here. Setting up office from home, so the lighting's a little bit different. Anyway, this is what we're doing, isn't it? We're adjusting right now. So I usually do a Facebook Live. I changed it to 4 o'clock on a Thursday, but life has been a bit different, a bit chaotic, so I'm doing it now. And who knows? Rules are made to be broken, aren't they? So I want to thank one of my beautiful clients, Sharon Rogers, who gave me permission yesterday. I had a massive day, was feeling quite drained, and I said, oh God, I've got to do my Facebook Live now. And she said, no, you don't. Listen to yourself, listen to what you practice and preach to others and bring that from within. So I did, and I didn't do it. So yeah, thank you for that permission. So I just wanted to check in with everyone. How are you adjusting with all of these changes? It's been a really big week for me, quite huge. I realised I've broken all of my rules. I felt like I've been hit by a bus this morning. Didn't want to get out of bed, wanted to stay there, and I thought, what's going on with me? Why am I so exhausted? So much stuff coming up, and realising that I hadn't grieved. I hadn't grieved for the old. You have to go through a grief process, grieve for the old, to allow the new to come in. And I was saying to a lot of people this week, to do that. And then I realized I hadn't actually done it for myself. So I took myself through a bit of a process last night, which was beautiful. I just allowed the sadness to come through, had lots of plans for this year that hello, gorgeous, that may or may not happen. And so, and I know from my own work that I do that, and from being a nurse as well, working in palliative care, how important it is to go through a grief cycle. We're continually birthing, living and dying, and we're going through a massive transition right now. So it's really important to take ourselves through that grief process. So I allowed some sadness to come up last night. I did a beautiful meditation with my mentor, and just allowed the grief to come through, the sadness about what if, the unknown, and allowing, that I suppose that stress response to come through. And then what I realized is I needed to also go through anger. Anger is another really important emotion in the grief cycle, and it's quite a higher vibrating emotion actually in fear. That's quite misunderstood, and it's about learning how to release that anger in an appropriate fashion through what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, so the relaxation response. So I allowed some anger to come up this morning. And what tipped me over the anger was from a message I got from a beautiful friend who had said that her mother had died yesterday. And I felt quite emotional, but what really tipped me over was that she said that they can't have a funeral. And that made me feel really emotional, because I love death. I love working in palliative care for such a long time. And one of the biggest honours was always when you got to sit with a patient and be there with them when they were going through that transition process. And the sad thing right now is that a lot of people won't be able to be with their loved ones as they're transitioning through, as they're dying. And so that allowed all that anger to come up for me. So I did some writing this morning to release that, because if we don't grieve, we don't allow the death to happen, and then we don't allow ourselves to step into the new. So I feel like now I've come to a lot more acceptance of where we're at, so I can keep adjusting. And it very much is an adjustment phase. As I said, hello everyone, how are you going? Broke all my rules this week, working too much. A lot of screen time, which is very new for me, so my brain was getting so tired, and not having regular breaks. Didn't take the weekend off last weekend. I ended up doing lots of work, and realised that's why I got very incredibly exhausted. And I went into a state of busy, doing all that stuff that I teach people not to do, because it doesn't serve. And so went into, I'm just waving. So just went into some old habits and some programmings. And that's why my energy was drained, because I went into a stress response. So I was able to identify those old habits and behaviors, and then now change course and realize that how important they are in my life, and allowing myself to feel peaceful from within. I still maintained my practice of twice a day meditation, but everything else actually has gone. So I'm re-bringing that in now. And but yeah, that's what I really wanted to talk about today. Mostly was just allowing yourself to grieve, allowing yourself to go through a grief cycle of expressing the sadness, the anger. Because I had that's what's really going to get us through to this acceptance then, because the last stage of the grief cycle is acceptance, and then it allows you to accept where you're at and then move on to the next phase, and allow, hello beautiful, love you lots too. So remember to grieve, remember to allow yourself to feel sad, feel angry, and the frustrations with what's going on right now, so that we can realign and shift our bodies to open up for the new. And really remember to practice your self-care, and as I say that, I'm talking to myself, your non-negotiables. I lined up all these things in my life to allow myself to manage life, so that I could be full of energy all the time. And if, some of those things have gone now, so I have to just keep readjusting, keep managing my energy, so that I can be in service of others. My energy is very important right now, because I'm supporting a lot of people, and I want to be able to continue to do that. So I just have to make myself a priority in my energy. So much love to you all, and keep grieving. Remember that it's called a process called apoptosis. We need death to happen to allow the new to come through. So allow that sadness and grief to be expressed, and particularly the anger. That's and journaling is I find one of the most powerful ways to express and release that. And then step into acceptance of the new, and then we can be open to the changes and the flow a whole lot easier, rather than getting quite frustrated behind it. I'm sending so much love. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful weekend. I'm going to really rest up this weekend, and be in a really great place for next week to be in service, and allow whatever changes need to happen to come through. Mwah! See you later. Bye. There we go, all done on Facebook. So allow yourself to grieve for the old, to allow the new to come in, and then we can be in acceptance of the changes that are happening right now. Mwah, so much love.